What a commute this morning. I spent an hour and a half staring at the same brake lights.
Welcome back to Fluent Talk, everyone. I'm Ava, feeling refreshed and ready. And that, clearly, is Leo, reminding us exactly what we're talking about today. Soft chuckle. Welcome, Leo.
Thank you, Ava. And yes, today we are tackling the future of work and lifestyle, starting with the million-dollar question, remote work mandate. Should companies force everyone back into the office, or is the hybrid model superior?
The debate is over, Leo. The hybrid model wins. Forced returns to the office ignore the human element. Eliminating that ridiculous commute improves employee well-being, reduces burnout, and gives people a better quality of life.
But you're ignoring the productivity paradox. While individual tasks might be done at home, long-term innovation, mentorship, and crucial communication suffer without face-to-face interaction. The office in presence eliminates proximity bias, ensuring remote staff aren't overlooked for promotions.
Wait, proximity bias is a fantastic term for our listeners. Can you quickly explain what that means and why it's a factor in the hybrid model?
Proximity bias is the unconscious tendency to give preferential treatment, like better assignments or promotions, to those who are physically closest to you, which usually means the people who are in the office. In the hybrid model, this leaves remote workers at a significant disadvantage.
I agree the bias is real, but that's a failure of management, not the hybrid model itself. Companies need to train managers to be location agnostic. Furthermore, studies show many employees report increased focus and higher productivity. They call that the deep work advantage.
But the serendipitous moments of innovation, the water cooler chat that sparks a new idea, that's impossible to quantify, and it's lost in the full remote setting. The office fosters corporate culture. The commute might be terrible, but it clearly separates work time from home time. We're already using terms like hybrid model, proximity bias, and productivity paradox. Stick around to the end of the episode to get the full list of today's essential vocabulary. You don't want to miss our recap.
The ideal solution must balance efficiency with life. The hybrid model isn't about productivity. It's about respecting the employee's time. Forcing a return simply exacerbates burnout.
Perhaps we can find a solution that boosts both. Next, we discuss an even more radical idea to solve burnout and boost efficiency, the 4-day workweek. Perhaps we can find a solution that boosts both. Next, we discuss an even more radical idea to solve burnout and boost efficiency, the 4-day workweek.
The work-life harmony dream. This is the future, Leo. Studies from global pilot programs consistently show that a compressed schedule, working 4 days instead of 5, dramatically reduces burnout, improves mental health, and surprisingly, maintains or even increases overall productivity.
Hold on, Ava. I'm trying to figure out where the catch is. Are you telling me I can still get paid for 5 days of work, but I get a magical 3-day weekend every week? That sounds like the economic equivalent of a unicorn riding a rainbow. Where is this utopia located? The reality of the labor market doesn't allow for this kind of free lunch.
That's brilliant, Leo, the economic equivalent of a unicorn. But seriously, it's not a free lunch. It relies on the principle of productivity through focus. Employees know they have less time, so they eliminate time-wasting activities like excessive meetings, reducing presenteeism, the act of just showing up without actually working.
I agree on the reduction of presenteeism, but how does a compressed schedule work for industries that require constant customer service, like hospitals or retail? The entire labor market isn't suitable for this model. It creates a massive logistical nightmare and disproportionately benefits white-collar workers.
It requires staffing adjustments, yes, but the benefit to the employee is huge. It's a powerful tool for boundary setting, which prevents the kind of severe burnout we see today. By formalizing a 3-day break, you ensure genuine rest, leading to better focus when they are working. This shifts the focus from time spent to output generated.
Okay, I see the merit in the work-life harmony argument.
But financially, the strain on small and medium enterprises is significant. They might not be able to afford the staggered staffing needed to maintain full coverage. For them, the productivity gains might not offset the increased labor market complexity. We've just discussed work-life harmony, burnout, and presenteeism. If you dream of a long weekend, stay with us until the very end. We will define compressed schedule and labor market in the vocabulary summary.
The ultimate takeaway is that if companies want to retain talent and solve the widespread problem of burnout, they must redefine productivity. The 4-day workweek is a bold but necessary step towards a humane and effective future of work.
Humane, yes, but where does everyone live while they're enjoying their 3-day weekend? Next, let's talk about the affordability of life itself. Urban exodus. Is the high cost of living in cities still worth the quality of life?
Humane, yes, but where does everyone live while they're enjoying their 3-day weekend? Next, let's talk about the affordability of life itself. Urban exodus. Is the high cost of living in cities still worth the quality of life?
The pandemic proved that for knowledge workers, the era of mandatory urban living is over, Leo. The urban exodus is a direct response to a terrible value proposition. Why pay an astronomical cost of living for a cramped apartment when remote work lets you move to a beautiful area and massively upgrade your quality of life?
That is a very romantic view, Ava, but it ignores critical factors. The high cost of living in a major city pays for world-class infrastructure, reliable public transport, dense networks, and most importantly, concentrated career opportunities. You might save money in the suburbs, but you sacrifice professional mobility. Paying 70% of your income just for a small box to sleep in, it's absurd. But the city is where the capital is. It's where the opportunities are. That concentration of talent justifies the premium despite the cost of living.
Calm down, Leo. But the point is, your argument is based on the past. Remote work has decoupled opportunity from geography. Furthermore, the relentless expansion of cities is leading to unsustainable urban sprawl, environmental damage, and hours wasted in traffic just to get out of the infrastructure you supposedly pay for.
But the city offers far more than just jobs. It offers culture, diversity, and instant access to specialized services that small towns simply cannot replicate. The quality of life isn't just about financial savings, it's about cultural richness. You can't tell me that sitting alone in a remote cottage offers a better overall experience than living near 5 world-class museums.
The ideal scenario is balancing finances and happiness. If your high cost of living is causing chronic stress, no amount of museum access can compensate. The urban exodus isn't about rejection. It's about reclaiming personal control and prioritizing quality of life over the traditional climb. We've just discussed urban sprawl, cost of living, and infrastructure. If you're planning your next move, stay with us until the very end. We will define quality of life and urban exodus in the vocabulary summary.
It's a tough decision balancing money and happiness. Speaking of balancing effort and reward, next let's tackle the concept that's divided every office worldwide: quiet quitting. It's a tough decision balancing money and happiness. Speaking of balancing effort and reward, next, let's tackle the concept that's divided every office worldwide: quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting is simply a brilliant new term for an old, healthy concept: boundary setting. It's a direct response to burnout culture, where employees refuse to do uncompensated tasks outside their job description. It's not about being lazy, it's about establishing a professional limit.
From a management perspective, however, quiet quitting is a sign of low employee engagement. It signals a disconnect between the worker and the company's mission. If an employee only does the bare minimum, they are not adding value, and that makes them dispensable in a competitive labor market.
You're confusing the symptom with the disease. Low employee engagement is caused by years of unrealistic expectations, forcing presenteeism, the pressure to be seen working long hours, even when not productive, and a chronic underpayment. Quiet quitting is the worker saying, I am being paid for 40 hours, and I will deliver 40 hours of work, period.
Oh, I remember presenteeism well. I used to stay late just to watch my boss watch me stay late. The only thing I was producing was a massive electric bill. But Ava, doesn't setting such a hard boundary prevent personal growth? How do you excel if you never go above and beyond the job description?
That's exactly the mindset that led to global burnout. We need to separate excelling from exploitation. Excellence should be rewarded with pay or promotion, not just more uncompensated work. Boundary setting protects your mental health, ensuring you have energy for the next day, which ultimately increases sustainable productivity.
The reality lies in the middle. While boundary setting is necessary, a blanket policy of quiet quitting can harm individual career progression due to that unseen proximity bias we discussed. Companies must actively improve employee engagement to close this perceived gap. We've just discussed quiet quitting, presenteeism, and burnout. If you've struggled with setting limits at work, stay with us until the very end. We will define boundary setting and employee engagement in the vocabulary summary.
The shift is happening. We are trading endless work for a better quality of life. This brings us perfectly to our final debate, the experience economy. Is buying experiences over things smart or just a trend?
The shift is happening. We are trading endless work for a better quality of life. This brings us perfectly to our final debate, the experience economy. Is buying experiences over things smart or just a trend?
The experience economy is fascinating. It's the idea that consumers, particularly millennials and Gen Z, prioritize spending their disposable income on things like travel, concerts, or unique dining experiences rather than tangible goods like cars or furniture. My question is this a genuine shift away from materialism or just a new form of consumption?
It's a genuine shift with a higher emotional ROI. Experiences create lasting memories and contribute to personal growth. Material goods just depreciate and cause clutter. Adopting a minimalist lifestyle and prioritizing travel, for example, is financially smarter because you're investing in memories, not depreciation.
Okay, I'll confess. I once paid an absurd amount of my disposable income to do a 1-hour professional dog sledding lesson in July on dirt in California. It was ridiculous, but I still tell that story. Short, slightly embarrassed laugh. That is the power of the experience economy. It bypasses logic for a great narrative.
You totally proved my point. A couch doesn't give you a funny story. But the issue remains, Max, that many experiences are just as consumer-driven as material goods. An expensive safari or a luxury dinner is still enabled by high disposable income. It's just materialism disguised as a wellness trend.
But the philosophy underpinning it, the minimalist lifestyle, genuinely attempts to reduce waste and focus resources. If people are more thoughtful about how they spend their disposable income, whether on an experience or a rare object, that's a step away from mindless consumption, which is good for the global economy.
Ultimately, the experience economy reflects a desire for quality of life over simply acquiring status symbols. It's an ethical mandate to move past old-school materialism and focus on personal well-being and growth, which should always yield the highest emotional ROI. We've just discussed experience economy, minimalist lifestyle, and disposable income. If you're trying to decide what to buy next, stay with us until the very end. We will define materialism and emotional ROI in the vocabulary summary.
That perfectly wraps up our look at the future of work and how we choose to live our lives. From the commute to the experience economy, the future is about balancing freedom and finance. Now let's move on to our final segment.
That perfectly wraps up our look at the future of work and how we choose to live our lives. From the commute to the experience economy, the future is about balancing freedom and finance. Now, let's move on to our final segment.
Exactly. It's time for your essential vocabulary takeaway. We've chosen 7 power terms
that you need to master to discuss the modern workplace. Listen closely and repeat them out loud. First, hybrid model. This refers to a work structure that splits time between working remotely and working in the office. Example, many companies have adopted a hybrid model for their staff.
Next, productivity paradox. This is the observation that investments in information technology often fail to show up as gains in overall productivity statistics. Example, the paradox suggests working longer hours doesn't always mean better output.
Third, burnout. This is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged or excessive stress. Example, the 4-day work week aims to reduce employee burnout.
Fourth, cost of living. This is the amount of money needed to sustain a certain standard of living in a specific place. Example, the high cost of living is driving people out of major cities.
Fifth, quiet quitting. This is the act of doing the bare minimum requirements of a job, mentally withdrawing from extra effort. Example, quiet quitting is often a reaction to a lack of employee engagement.
Sixth, boundary setting. This is the act of establishing clear limits between one's professional and personal life, essential for mental health. Example, learning boundary setting is key to avoiding burnout.
And finally, experience economy. This is an economic shift where consumers prioritize spending money on experiences over material possessions. Example, travel is a primary driver of the experience economy.
What a great debate on finding happiness and efficiency in the modern world. Thank you for tuning in and expanding your professional vocabulary with us.
Our final question for you, do you believe quiet quitting is a moral failure or a necessary tool for boundary setting? We want to see your strongest arguments in the comments below.
Remember to hit that subscribe button. We post a brand new episode with fresh debates and more essential vocabulary every single day at 6 a.m. on the English Easy channel.
We'll see you next time. Bye for now.